Miami at Seattle was at 7.5, I think. It's now down. No, it was at 6.5. It's now down to 5. It moved to 5 literally as we went on the air. I unfortunately, like, I was starting to lean towards Miami before, like, after it had moved the full point. Like, by the time I was doing my work, it had already moved 6.5 to 5.5. But I do think this is a big, big luck rankings game. I think Seattle's a little bit overinflated. We've got the chance to bet a backup quarterback, which we like to do. We've got the week 3 dogs that are 0-2 against the spread, covering 61% of the time the past 20 years. That is the Dolphins. They didn't cover against the Jags. They didn't cover against the Bills. I don't know. Seahawks, like, they were they pushed both of their games this season against inferior teams, the Broncos in week 1, the Pats in week 2, and, like, they needed help doing it. So to me, it's as much about Miami as it's as much about Seahawks inflation as it is about Miami.
That's fair, but my positive ass is just like Seattle's really earned these 2 wins, and that I'm kind of impressed with it. Where it's like I thought for sure they were going to choke that New England game away, Chad. I really
Yep.
did. I think I made us put in our money line round robin, and it was like, okay, I missed on that one. But my view of it was just like, that's such a letdown spot for this team, where this doesn't feel so much of a letdown spot, but I guess it kind of is now, right? With all the questions Miami has at quarterback.
Yeah.
So I think you nailed it, though. This number to me has moved too much, right? I don't
Yeah.
know if we're getting the best of the number here, where it's like, the value, especially if it's now getting to 4.5 on Seattle, that feels like where the value is going to be, right? I mean, Skylar Thompson, that's who might be the starter for this Miami team on the road against the 12th man. I can see them having major issues offensively. And, got to wait and see the injury report. If Achan's all good, that's a huge deal for Miami. When we've seen it, their first 2 weeks, he's been by far their best, most consistent player. That's a big deal to that offense. So, another game that we'll just wait and see. I'll have a better opinion on Thursday. But I can tell you, every pro I've talked to so far, they hit that Miami number. They loved Miami at that big number. So they might have a different read on it than I do, where they think maybe Miami's offense matches up well with this Seattle defense, and they'll be able to keep up with them. But my other view of it is just like Seattle, they did find something against that New England team, right? Like they kind of started figuring out, like, if you just get the ball at the DK, that really does spread the defense out, where it doesn't matter if it's Kenneth Walker, whoever they have back there running the ball. Once you spread a defense out, there's just so many open lanes. So Miami, it might be a season from hell for them, Chad. I mean, through 2 weeks, they got really lucky against Jaguars team. I think me and you both can agree, might not
Yeah.
be that good. So maybe wow. Seattle now is minus 4.5, Evan just said. So
Wow.
that's what I mean. Professionals really love Miami in the spot. So I might have to steer clear of this one, like the Vikings
Yeah.
last week. Just trust the pro money.
Also, we missed, last night, the
Wow.
Eagles Falcons game was a really good example of getting the best of the number, in that the number had been 6.5, then 6, then 5.5. And bets, we can see it all in the Action Network app and in the Action Network website. Bets were rolling in on the Falcons at 5.5. They ended up covering, miraculous cover, right? But they were losing by 6. Like, that second that field goal at the end of the game to put them up by 6. That's the difference between getting the best of the number and not getting the best of the number, right? Like, if you took the bait at 5.5 for about 59 minutes of that game, you were sick to your stomach. Like, that was terrible. So get the best of the number. I agree with you. We might just we've missed it. Like, let's be
Yeah.
disciplined. We missed it. Be disciplined.